Hello, welcome to Chapter 1 in this triple camera comparison. I too am trying to figure out the best camera and settings for my mountain bike adventures. I've watched camera comparisons and have unable to find non-sponsored action camera reviews that suggest settings for the scenarios I encounter and the video editing experience I have, which is very little. I am colorblind, so the idea of color grading is terrifying, so my goal is to figure out settings to get the best out of camera footage for most scenarios. Because once I start sliding color settings, things start looking a little radioactive. I travel the country riding different terrain from deserts to deep woods, mountains to flatlands, and bike parks to places I probably shouldn't ride. I took these 3 cameras on my latest trip thinking I was going to solve this question in 3 days. What I found was more questions. Most of the time, the quick solution isn't the best solution. So follow along with me on my journey to discover the mystery of EV comp, white balance, shutter speed, frame rate, ISO, field of view, stabilization, color profiles, 8-bit, 10-bit. Holy shit, let's get it. Trail. All right, here we go. Let's look at the footage quick. Okay, let's get out of the trail. All right, glad I did a quick check. So if you shoot in freeform, the stabilization is not the best, and it's actually a smaller field of view than if you just shoot in regular video. So I am in regular video, max stabilization, chin mount. Here we go. And we are on California. It's a black diamond. I'm gonna do the whole thing and switch throughout. So the main river trail is right there if you're looking for that. All right. So as I said, today we're going to use chin mount. We'll get into it in the summary as why. It has to do with the terrain. I really like chest mount, but with the amount of bumps, a lot of the footage is borderline unwatchable. So thoughts about the Go3. So one, the ability to shoot in free frame, so you can change it, the aspect ratio later, is pretty awesome. However, it has some limitations. The stabilization in that mode is not that great. So if you're in terrain like I'm in now, it's going to be pretty rocky. so I'm kind of rambling now, but we're also checking out audio. The audio comparison I did yesterday was okay, but because of the different mounting positions, I think that made some cameras sound better than the others. So today they'll all be chin mounted right near my mouth, so they all have a fair shot. Guess we'll go this way. Hey, you know what? Let's turn on trail forks. Let's consult. And that's why we consult. We're going the wrong way. Let's go this way. It's California 56. So I'll have the specs on here for California 56. I believe it's just under a mile. How's it going?
How are you?
Good, good. This is a two-way trail. I'm not sure which way is the fun way. When it's my first visit here and I see people going the other way, I feel like I chose wrong. So it looks like this way. Oh, so like I was saying, I've been impressed with the quality of this camera. Even though it's 1440p, it runs a 80 megabyte bitrate, which is the same as the DJI roughly. The DJI is a little more, but that's when the DJI is running in 4K. So the detail, even though the resolution is, here, let's take a look before we die. The detail, even though the resolution is less, the detail is pretty good. All right, let's see what we're getting into. This ain't too bad. This is a little rough. This looks like the top of Bat Cave. I don't know if it is. No, it's not. This is something. This part here does not look like a diamond. This looks like a double. And that branch right there is super low. So coming off of here, yeah, I'm not gonna do this section. So this isn't, I mean, it's horrible, but this is doable. I can kind of roll around, come down here, roll this, and then kind of drop here. But you see what the issue is right here, bonk, and that's standing, and I'm taller when I'm on the bike. But yeah, this would be fun, minus this tree, and minus actually this turn, because the only way to get down this right, oh wow, look at that, and up the, well, you'd have to walk the other side. This is like a ravine. I don't think this is the trail. Yeah, this is a ravine. That's the trail. And that is straight up. That'd be a 4-point hike. That's like both hands, both feet, pushing a 50-pound bike up that. It's gonna take a while, so we're not going this way. We're gonna double check the map, make sure I went the right way. Because like I said, this section here is not a black diamond, it's a double or a pro line. Okay, let's consult. Let's turn off auto rotate here. Oh yeah, I'm off the trail, so I'm supposed to turn up here. That explains that. This is in California. This is a cool little climb here, though. Get my orientation here. I guess that'll be the camera comparison. I'm not sure where California 56 goes, but let's head back. Trail Fork says that looks like the way, but there's no way. No, see, I was off. Okay, let's try to find this one more time. All right, we good. This is where it went south. There's got to be like a left turn over here. Oh, this is it. Okay, cool. Nice. Good. I didn't want to not do it. I've been talking about this trail for 2 days. Alright, so back on track. Ow. Alright, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna go this way. Pretty sure it's not to the right because there's a big ass ravine over there. Lizard. Super tight. Had less than an inch of bar clearance, and if my bar hit it, it would have pushed me over the cliff. Looks like it goes this way. Nope, we took a wrong turn. That's all right. We're gonna switch cameras, get another perspective. Insta360 X3. Let's get this into position here. Yeah, Insta360 X3 chin mount. It is 5.7K, 30 frames a second, 360 mode. I will reframe later. It's surprising, after reviewing all the footage, this wasn't my favorite, and it's mainly, I'm guessing, because of the chest mount. This area here is super rocky, super bumpy, so the footage was kind of crazy. Another note too is, if you set the X3, or you want to, yeah, let me make sure I got all my stuff here. We don't need a repeat. So if you don't know, I lost all my stuff out of my bag a couple days ago here, and it was nice enough where some people returned it. Okay, so back to it. So X3 chin mounted. First day I did unicorn mount. So when you're reframing, you can actually set direction lock on your X3 to make sure it goes the same direction the entire time. It works great on chest mount. We're going to see how it works on chin mount. However, in unicorn mount, if you put it on top of your helmet, even with direction lock on, it gets off quite a bit, where you see in the previous footage in this video that the X3, when you were doing a side-by-side, it would lose track of the trail, sometimes pointing at my head. I haven't seen it do that yet with chest mount. Chest mount, it stays locked on pretty good. Occasionally it might be late to a turn, but that's about it. So we'll see if the chin mount is causing, the head mount is causing the issue, the unicorn mount, where there is a 360 view around the camera, so there's no obstruction. I'm wondering if chest mount and maybe chin mount, when the camera's up against you, it's easier to keep a direction lock on because the light, especially facing toward my shirt, is going to be darker than the rest. So that may help at tracking, I don't know. But yeah, so we took a wrong turn. We're on Lawson right here. We're gonna get back to California 56. It's right down here to the left. A little bit further. Yeah, there was a trail to the left over there on the other side of the picnic table, but it looked too obscure to be the actual way. This should be it. Yeah. All right, back in California, 56. This is, oh, it's Cal. Threw me off. Cal 56. Okay, we're going this way. All of a sudden they abbreviated the sign. Unless it is two trails. Hey, California 56 turns into Cal 56. Yeah, I'm rambling. But again, we're checking the audio. I believe the audio in the X3 was the worst yesterday, but it was in chin mount. Or not chin mount, it was chest mount yesterday. Upright as well. I normally, when I do a chest mount with the X3, I have it hanging low. I had it upright, and it makes me, by the sound, believe that the microphones are on toward the bottom of that, because that was the most muffled sound I've had with the X3 so far. Yeah, I was here yesterday, or a couple days ago. Oh, lizard. So something to note on the X3 and pretty much all cameras is they'll always say you need more light for HDR mode. So I'm in HDR mode right now. We'll see how it just handled that darker section. If it was too dark, or if you're going somewhere that's going to be pretty dim, you could always just do regular video, and that looks great as well. Sometimes I think it looks better, because sometimes I feel like, let's see, oh, that's the end of California. All right, we're gonna go into schist. Actually, you know what? We're gonna turn around and do California again the other way. So, that is not packed dirt at all. That is mulch and pine needles. Yeah, so sometimes I think HDR means overexposed and underexposed. So you know what? Let's actually change. We're gonna go back through, same way, same area, and we'll take it out of HDR. See how it looks. Here we go. Right, so keep it with our review. Chin mount, Insta360 X3, non-HDR mode. I was just saying the HDR mode sometimes can't handle the dark, and oftentimes in a lot of different cameras, HDR mode tends to just overexpose and underexpose an awful lot. So we're gonna do regular mode and see if it looks better than the HDR mode with all this varying light. So back through California 56. See if we can do it without getting lost this time. Hey. Oh, almost. No one else. You're good. All right, here we go. Oh, it says this is running trail. So Off track again. Yeah, we're supposed to go right. So let's turn around. And now it'll be a left. All right. Oh no, it looks like it merges. That's okay. You know what? It's a good time to switch to DJI. So, last camera. So this one's tried and true. All right. So we're back on DJI. So we're back on DJI, and it is in full auto, including weight balance. Just checked the angle on the phone, and yeah, this is a superstar. It has a huge field of view. So it looks like took a wrong turn onto Arroyo, which we did a couple days ago. And yeah, this trail is super fun, but it's super short. So we are going to turn back onto Cal 56, finish this review, and it's right here where I was going. Even though it says running trail, it runs into it right over here. Ooh, let's do one more thing. Let's tighten this up. Good. Thought I was going to have to move it, so it was a little bit loose. All right, here we go. Alright, it gets, yeah, this way. I think the ravine's to my left when you go in that crazy way. Alright, that's a good line. All right, it's to the right. Yeah. Ooh, we're supposed to turn right. Right there. All right, there it is, Cal 56. It's cool they have signs. I just wish they had them at the intersection from the directions. from all the directions, so everybody knows what trail they're on. We can clear that. That was just a bad line choice. We got that. So we're gonna come in from the left a bit, pull up, and go right through the middle. Here we go. Right here. Ooh, kind of. Gotta turn a little bit more. So hard right. Here, we're gonna start here. I say one more, but you know, still I get it. Because it's hard, but there's not a lot of places to get totally fucked up. All right, maybe not. Having trouble getting the back wheel up. Whoop. It's all right, go ahead. Oh, you know what? Speaking of, I talked about HDR with the X3. Let's switch out of HDR right now. So, all right, so non-HDR, 4K 30, Cine D profile, everything on auto, including white balance and EV. Let's see how it handles the changing the light, which I anticipate it'll do it pretty well. It does everything pretty well. You may be wondering why the GoPro is not in this comparison. So battery life on the GoPro is terrible. And by that I mean like the battery life was probably as good as the DJI, but when you turn off the camera and the battery is in it, it drains. So if I charge it overnight and I don't want to leave it plugged in, I unplug it, turn everything off, and at the beginning of my ride, the next day I'm already at 70%. Reason number 2, I'll put a screenshot in here. I've been hanging on to it for a while. I had the GoPro overheat like many others several times. One day it overheated while I was riding. And it was only in the 70s. So between the battery life and the overheating, GoPro is not for me. I will admit though, the footage, even in auto, was the first camera I got without knowing anything, actually looks really good. It's just unreliable. And just like the reason I talk up the X3, the quality on that isn't the best, but you're very likely to get your footage because it sees everything. You can fix it in post. Super tight switchbacks here. Safety ding. Ding ding. Pedal strike, pedaled through it anyway. I just took my foot off the pedal and let it float. Just let that stump kick it out of the way instead of kick me over my bars. Lizard. All right, we are back at California 56, beginning. Get my shuttle back to the car. Figure why not do it with them all running? That makes sense, right? Just go watch my head with that 360 on top. Yep, going up. So first trip here, still trying to feel it out, see what I'm getting into. High head clearance. Lots of steps. Super impressed with the Trek Rail 9.7 brake modulation. Super predictable braking. Especially handy going down Black Diamonds for the first time with crazy cameras on your head. They're in different positions, obviously. So we're gonna run them and then do one at a time, all chest mounted. I feel like that's the best position. It kind of gets you into the action. So if you notice on the head mount camera, sometimes it doesn't get the bike in view and you just kind of look like a floating head. Chest mount is actually awesome. You get some of the little bit of the bounce, kind of like in a video game when there is a lot of action on the screen and the screen shakes. You obviously don't want the camera bouncing around non-stop, but some of the heavy stuff that you're hitting and kind of bouncing all over the place, you kind of want to convey that feeling to your audience, or I do. If you're looking for floating head, instead of any of that bouncing, your head position will be the best, because your head acts like a gimbal. So here we go. We're gonna go twin bridges. And you know what? I went that way last time. Let's go this way. Ooh. You know what? Let's go the other way. That is like, if you can see that, that looks like a downhill. There's probably two ways, but not really. It's one-way fun and one-way not so fun. So we're gonna go the same way as yesterday, which is kind of good, because I kind of know this way. Here we go. Said we'll go like 5 minutes or so up, and we'll start heading back. And then we'll do one at a time, chest mount. A little wheelie. That's perfect. So that was twin bridges going up. Let's go ahead and go down. Yeah, we'll do a little wipe on the 360. Felt my wrist go across the lens. Alright, just gonna circle around for a good position. Here we go. Down twin bridges. Let's go this way, the way we came up. Some zigzagging flow. Alright, conclusion time. So we're going to start with the X3. So currently, the best settings I prefer to run is 360 mode, non-HDR, for fast moving, rough terrain, or changing light. So if you're going in and out of the shadows, through the trees and then out in the open, HDR should be off. When you go fast, especially if you have a lot of trees around or anything around, is some smearing in the HDR, and when there's bumps, there's definitely some smearing. So in most of the videos, and this goes for all the cameras, you'll see the professional videos of with GoPro or X3 or any of those, and everything looks crisp, and it's always with a blue sky and usually snow. It's very easy to process white snow, blue sky, And if there's any artifact in it, it's tough to detect. But when you have a lot of moving objects, such as leaves and branches, it's very hard for the camera to keep up with processing. So it gets pretty blurry and kind of looks like Breath of the Wild. It looks just kind of cartoony. So just to reiterate, Insta360 X3, if you're going into the woods and out of the woods and like varying light, non-HDR, 360 mode, reframe later. Perfect. HDR mode, great if you're out in the open with the blue sky. You're not going to be going in and out of shadows, and you're not moving fast, and you're moving reasonably smooth. Then the HDR 360 mode is great. Also the photos, if you take photos with the 360 HDR, they come out great as well. Okay, so next we have the Insta360 Go3. So during this first part of the basically chapter 1, the Go3 got shafted a few times. So one of the times another camera was in the way when I was wearing all of them at the same time. Another time it was pointed at the ground. When I wore it on its own, it did pretty good. The stabilization in the freeform mode is great, but you can't tell. So if you shoot a video in freeform and then you go and review it in the camera right away, it's going to look shaky. So in this review, you'll see that I went from freeform and I changed to regular mode because the stabilization was wild. I did upload that video to the computer into the 360 Studio app, or the 360 Studio desktop app, and it was very smooth. So again, freeform is great, smoothness is great, it's just not going to look smooth or great until you upload it. The non-freeform mode, regular 16:9, it looks great as well. Both versions shoot in less than 4K. I believe it's around 1440p, give or take. The bitrate, however, is pretty high. It's about 80 megabytes. 80 is the bitrate in freeform. In non-freeform, it's usually like 44, 45. In comparison, the Insta360 X3 that we just talked about, the bitrate is usually about 40 for a 360 view, which is why the Insta360 X3, the details are a little bit less. The Insta360 Go3 that we're talking about right now, the little one, the new one, even though the resolution is less, the details are great. It's very crunchy, so if you don't like that high sharpness, you can probably reduce it. I actually like the sharpness. I don't like everything looking blurry all the time. So again, Insta360 Go3, best settings seem to be all of them. The hardest thing I had, which is my fault, is just pointing it in the right direction. On the helmet mount, it pointed in the right direction, which is actually where I would mount it. The other places I had mounted it in the chest, and I tried hooking it up to my camelback shoulder strap when I was trying to do the 3 at once, and yeah, it just pointed in the wrong direction. However, yeah, the smallness of it and the fact that you can place it in different places even without the main body is great. Downside to it is the battery is not replaceable. You do get 160 to 170 minutes off a charge, but if the battery does die, there's no way to swap a battery quick. You're going to have to charge it. All right, so the last camera we're talking about is the DJI Osmo Action 3. This camera is great. Love this camera. Colors are good, quality's good, bitrate's high, so you get a lot of detail. Shoots in 4K. I usually shoot in 4K 30. I actually prefer 60 frames a second. This whole cinematic nonsense drives me crazy. I'm an avid video gamer, and I like 60 frames a second, and that goes for watching video as well. This goes for all the cameras. If I have the option to shoot in 60 frames a second with good quality, I'll probably do it. I have been shooting in 30 because I've been shooting with multiple cameras and they don't all do 60, so I've been doing the highest common denominator. So the DJI, again, great colors, great stabilization, great battery. I have multiple batteries as well for the DJI and also the 360 X3. So very easy to swap batteries. I have the frame that came with the DJI, so you can shoot in 16:9, which is the regular YouTube style, or 9:16, for TikTok Reels or anything else you want to do. The thing that's the drawback to the DJI is you do have to pick one. The Insta360 X3 and Go3 both have options to shoot in a mode that will allow you to reframe into different aspect ratios so that you can do one video and use it for multiple platforms. DJI doesn't have the option. Again, you have to choose one. But the colors are great. Again, the quality is great. Battery life is great. So I have no complaints about the DJI. All right, so things they all have in common. So before I started this review, my favorite view or mount was chest mount. And I was thinking about it. So my local trails are fairly not smooth, but they're not crazy rough. So the smooth trails, chest mount's great because it's pretty smooth, and when you hit a jump or a bump or anything, it'll shake the camera a little bit to give that feeling of impact. But in places like where I just was now, which is Cameron Park in Waco, Texas, which amazing riding. Everything about Waco that I found during this trip was awesome. Okay, I'm getting off track a little bit. So when the trail's a little bit rough and you have a chest mount, I cinched that thing down so tight, and on all the cameras it was still more shaky than I like. So I liked chin mount before, but I actually like it more now. There is the drawback where you can see in the side-by-side, when I had 3 of them running, the chin mount, when I was running over some really rough stuff, looks super smooth like I was on pavement. And that's the part of the chin mount I don't like, is, you know, when I'm working hard and busting my butt going over some craziness, I kind of want to convey that I'm on some craziness and it's not super easy. You know, it's a little rough. And they all have the same issue as far as the GoPro effect, which, if you don't know, it just makes things steep look less steep. And that kind of makes sense because a lot of the views that we have, the action view and wide field of views, what they do is they take a large field of view and they squish it down so that if something is, you know, tall, it squishes it down into the frame so that it will fit, but then it takes that height or that descent, in other words, and it makes it smaller so it fits in the screen, but it makes it smaller. So that's a drawback to all of them. So just a recap here. The best mount, in my opinion, at this point is chin mount. It's the most consistent. You'll get clear view, and when you turn your head, you'll be able to, the camera will see what you're seeing, so that's great. The other thing is both of the Insta360s, all right, so I take that back. DJI Action 3, Insta360 Go3 have the best quality. The X3, I just like the reframing. The worst quality, though, I'm disappointed the most with the X3. Every time I shoot, I get the angle I want, but the picture looks rough. So if I had to rate them right now in best to worst for me, and this isn't necessarily the order I like, it's just the order that they're in. I would say the DJI is number 1 at this point. Again, just for consistency, quality, I have replaceable batteries. Field of view is great. Battery life is great. Has the most mounting options as far as things I have, because they all mount on my chest, mount on my helmet, mount on unicorn mount, like, you know. Second would be the new Go3, and it's a close second. I really like the Go3. I like how crispy the video is. I'm still getting used to the placement, and I did notice that when I use it on my helmet, there is less jerkiness than when it is on my vest. So when I use a chest mount, I feel like if the bike is going side to side and I'm pedaling hard, I had mentioned that it had some jerky movement side to side. It seems to go away with the chin mount. I think it just takes that jerkiness that you get from your chest, and when you put it on your head acts as a gimbal, so a lot of that jerkiness goes away. So for that reason, the Go3 is number 2, and what I thought was going to be my number 1, the X3, is in last place. It's great. So a few drawbacks. There's a setting in the Studio app that you can set the 360 X3 and the Go3, you can put on direction lock. And it appears to work great on a chin mount for the X3 and a chest mount for the X3. But when you put it in unicorn mount, the direction lock gets kind of crazy, where it just starts pointing any direction. So it doesn't necessarily that would be best case use for the X3, but because that way fails, you could tediously fix it in post, but the idea of this is not to have to do that. Just a reminder, all of the footage you saw today was shot unedited. Most of the settings that I used are going to be up on the screen at the beginning. So I didn't color grade, I didn't do anything. I just with the X3, I framed it correctly, and with the other cameras, I might have had the EV balance or white balance set. There is a couple times where I use manual for all of them. You'll see them. I don't recommend manual unless you are in a non-changing light situation. Again, if you're going in and out of trees and into shade and out of shade, you'll see in the video that when I was in manual mode, in the woods, it looked great, which is what I set it for. But anytime I broke out of the woods and I had an open sky above me, it was whited out. It was unusable. So that's what happened there. Well, anyway, I'm going to cut it there because I'm talking a lot, and there's going to be more to come. So my next review is going to be one of these cameras just individually. I am going to use the heck out of it and post a video with a full review with the settings that are best for me for open riding, like no tree cover. Maybe you got open sky, pretty bright, and also through the trees, the settings I use for that, and finally a setting where there's a mix. I'm going to have settings posted for each. Again, I don't know which one it's going to be yet. It'll be one of these three cameras. Like I said, I'll do a breakdown, and I'll show you what I do to edit with whatever camera I use. And how I edit is very simple. It's not complicated. I spend a lot of time editing because, again, I'm new, but I'm trying to simplify. So I'm not color grading like crazy or doing anything crazy. I want to get in, trim, make it look nice, and be done. So again, I'll go over the editing on each camera, and the next camera video should be soon. I may shoot it in Rhode Island when I'm visiting family, so stand by for that. All right, have a great day, week, year. Have fun. That's what life's about. See you in a bit.